I have 4 kids. I had two, and I thought, how lucky am I? I have a boy and a girl. And then, found myself pregnant with twins. So that was a shocker. I worked full time and I was the primary breadwinner. And so it was, threw my world really upside down.
So I think what I want to do first, Jenny, is acknowledge that there are both benefits and risks, right? I think that social media can offer opportunities for connection, for creativity, for learning, and really it helped the kids get through COVID, if we had to be honest, right? However, I think it's really important for us to address all those issues, the bullying, online predators. But for me, the most important is the risks around mental health, the impact, the negative impact on mental health. And what I'm seeing with a teenage daughter going into high school is that it's definitely a place where comparison really comes to life, judgment, comparison, criticism, and bullying, frankly.
I remember passing a note in class. I think it was probably sixth grade, so I was 11. And my worst nightmare came true that the teacher intercepted it and read it. Well, now, when that 11-year-old is passing a note, but doing it on Instagram, on Snapchat, on Twitter, on TikTok, that's not only seen by potentially millions of people, but it's also lives on.
I allowed my kids to play on their phones, my boys to play a game, and I felt like it began to get out of control. I just found them on it all the time. And I really was like, oh my God, this is great. They're becoming friends, but it's really, oh my God, this is so horrible. And they're not staying on, they're not doing their schoolwork and they're just spending so much time. The sheer time was giving me like a headache to think about it.
And for me, what I've had to deal with is how long do you stay on it? What's too much? And it's just been really hard to navigate.
And I get that there's good there. I get that there's a possibility with this technology that our kids who are studying languages can speak to people who actually speak that language, that studying architecture, you can actually see the architecture. I get the possibilities. And I do think there's so much danger. And I am a grown-up person who's had a lot of experience. And occasionally I will be on Twitter or something where I'm looking and I put in a search for something and what comes up is so alarming. It's violent, it's sexual, and I was not searching for that.
Absolutely 110% with the algorithm and with the data usage. I think these would be a huge help, really important, and I guess I hope they go far enough.
Giving her the phone early, I think if I could do it again, I wouldn't give it to her as early as I did, because of the lack of maturity and of what's going on social media. But now, as a teenager, using it as a way to connect, very important. But I'm seeing it really impact her mental health.
I wish it weren't just up to parents to try to control this because it's just too big and too much.
The burden has been on us, like you were saying. The burden needs to be on the social media companies. They have just gotten away with doing whatever they've wanted. It's been the Wild West. And we've just been, this unwilling participant. And the rules and regulations that the federal government can put in place, I mean, the social media needs to be kind of like reined in, and there need to be regulations, just like the FCC for TV used to have. Like there are certain things you could and couldn't do and say and couldn't, the 7 words, right? There's nothing. There's social media does whatever they want, and then our kids have access to it. So I think those things be really, really helpful that, parents aren't out here and kids on their own trying to figure it out. And teachers too, who've had to bear a lot of this burden.
I really wonder what that does for their ability to have intimacy, to have compassion for one another.
And I don't think that we know how, and I think we're being asked to manage something that is unmanageable. And cigarettes are controlled. No 10-year-old can go into a store and buy cigarettes. That seems crazy and silly. But a 10-year-old, if you hand them your phone, forget about even giving them their own phone because you're busy and you want to, within seconds, they can see things that will change the way they live the rest of their life. And that sounds hyperbolic, but I know that it's true.